Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Fabulous. It is almost our anniversary. Did you know that?
Yes, I did know
Today's
that. I was
the 9th.
there.
So let's see. Tomorrow is the 10th, and then... Oh, the 11th is our anniversary.
It's Sunday.
Yeah. So what are we doing? Anything special?
Probably nothing.
No, okay. Ours, it's 1 week after the Super Bowl this year.
We
so
thought people coming over Saturday night.
Our anniversary is the not so super. Honestly, it's pretty cool. 18 years this year.
Yeah.
Wowzers, that is crazy.
Long time.
Hey, I should probably tell you who my guest is, shouldn't I? I've got a super awesome special guest, Dr. Ellen Keller. I had a chance to visit with Dr. Ellen Keller last year. She is an author of a book called The Selfish Path to Romance, which sounds selfish, but it's not. It's actually really a cool book, so we'll be chatting with her. Got a quote here from Donald Trump. He says, as long as you're going to be thinking anyway, think big. It's a good
Agreed.
quote. I like that. I'm going to think big. Okay. Great show today. Great show today. Great show today. It's on the way. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
There are monthly subscriptions for razors and coffee and many other things, but this is the best monthly subscription ever. Ladies, listen up. Odiva has a monthly subscription for your monthly visitor. You know it's going to happen every month, and how many times have you been caught off guard? Odiva will send you a box discreetly each month with the products you want, with plans starting at less than $4 a month. Get a special offer right now at radiosavings.com, helping women prepare for their monthly visitor for less. Try it now at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Friday, February the 9th. Today is National No One Eats Alone Day. So if you see somebody...
nice. I don't like it when I see people eating all alone. It makes me so sad.
If you see somebody sitting by themselves, without anybody, you can go sit with them and say, hey, is this seat taken? Do you mind if I sit here? Would you like to pay for my dinner too? No, don't do that part. But you could pay for theirs. That would be really nice. It's National Bagel Day, formerly Bagel and Lox Day. So, LOX, Bagel and Lox.
I don't know what that is.
Well, Lox lost their day, so now it's just National Bagel Day. National Pizza Day today.
I love pizza.
I do too. Guess we're going to be celebrating that. And it's National Toothache Day. Why would you celebrate?
Not good.
Why would you celebrate that?
Yeah, it's nothing to celebrate.
I don't think that's something to celebrate. All of that happening on this Friday, the 9th day of February.
John and Heidi.
Sadly, more than 350 million people suffer from depression. Scientifically, your actual brain chemistry levels are affected. Now, a breakthrough safe and natural non-prescription coffee product has been shown to help. It elevates levels of dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins in the brain, which make you happier just by drinking this special cup of coffee. Many report elevated mood, feeling more connected, having greater energy, clarity, and focus. Try it for yourself at firstcupisfree.com. Get a free sample at firstcupisfree.com.
John and Heidi.
Coming up, we've got your brain on drugs. Now, we've got a story here that I'm kind of torn on this because there's this young Girl Scout that's getting in trouble in San Diego. The San Diego Girl Scout Council is investigating a scout who sold her Girl Scout cookies at a marijuana dispensary. And they're saying, I don't know if that's okay. Well, here's the thing. It was legal, what she did. She wasn't going to
she was in there. I mean, she was probably out in front of it, which isn't, who cares?
Entrepreneur.
Those people have the munchies.
Well, I was just saying, entrepreneurism at heart right there. But I also understand where they're saying, hey, I don't think we really want to be associated with that. So, next time, maybe don't do that. I don't know. I can understand where the issue is, but, if she was camped out front in a, seedy-looking van with the doors propped open.
I don't have a problem with it.
You.
She set up her little table. She's selling her cookies. That's what they want her to do.
Got some cookies for you.
She can't help what happens to be behind her.
You got the munchies? I got what you need.
Hey, you want some Thin Mints?
You got the stuff? Anyway, I don't know if any of that even made sense. We're just so stupid. We're just dumb. Anyway, that was San Diego Girl Scout Council. And like I said, I understand. It all makes sense. Coming up, we do have your brain on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Each day at this time, we talk about people doing dumb things under the influence, but addiction is no laughing matter. If you or someone you know needs help, there's a toll-free number you can call.
1-800-438-0380.
That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline.
1-800-438-0380.
And this is your brain on drugs. Joshua Hansen, age 25. He's an inmate in Texas. He broke back into prison, and he was caught because he had a whole bunch of home-cooked food. So first part, he broke out of prison, and he got caught at the complex on narcotics charges. He was caught while running back into the prison with a full bag of contraband, including a large amount of home-cooked food. Besides the food, the bag also contained marijuana. That's not good. 3 bottles of brandy and 1 bottle of whiskey, plus multiple bags of tobacco packaged snacks. Okay, that's 2 different things.
Tobacco packaged snacks.
There's a comma that I missed. Multiple bags of tobacco.
Smoking is down. We have to get him hooked another way.
Comma, packaged snacks and fruit. You can't read the comma. He now gets to add escaping prison and bringing contraband back to the criminal facility and more narcotics charges to his sentence. So he must like it there because, he's going to be there
He never
a while.
wants to leave.
No. Well, I mean, when you get to bring the home goods from home, I mean, why would you? No, you can't do that? Okay, that's the problem. I've got a link to that story. This is your brain on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. Police are on the lookout for some burglars who stole $165,000 worth of jewelry from John Stamos' fiancée at the Beverly Hills
I
Hotel.
saw that. It was on the day of their wedding.
And then that night they got married. So now it's his wife, but at the time it was his fiancée.
That was so sad.
That is very sad. Is he a vampire? I mean, that guy hasn't
He looks
aged a day.
amazing.
We watched Fuller House. I mean, only once, but we watched
But we
an
saw it.
episode. And he came out.
He looks
I was like,
amazing.
he hasn't changed a bit.
Yeah.
He's probably more handsome today than he was back in the 90s when
If
he was
that's
doing that the
even
first time. I was
possible.
like, what in the world? Pretty sure he's a vampire. I think he's a vampire, Pat Sajak is a vampire, and John Bon Jovi is a vampire. All of these people are more handsome today than they were in the 90s.
Meanwhile, the rest of us look like gargoyles.
I literally had my wife tell me, I need to put face cream on my face because I'm getting too wrinkly.
You are getting wrinkly.
He said, you should consider, I mean, this is when we're laying in bed. She looks over and she goes, you should consider
Some moisture.
putting some moisturizer in that face of yours if you want me to keep looking at you. I was like, what?
I did
what
not
the what?
say it like that.
That's pretty much what you said. Hey, you should really do something about that
I
face of
did
yours.
not say it like that.
You know what I mean? Been married to you 18 years. When I married you, you were handsome-ish. And now, not so much. You should fix that. Anyway, this has been Big Screen, Little Screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com.
John and Heidi.
You can have a debt-free education. I know that sounds crazy, but let me save you time, energy, and most importantly, your hard-earned money. My name is Matthew Einstone, and I learned to go through my undergraduate and graduate degree without student loans. Not only am I a living example, but I have 10 years of proven results, not guesswork. So take my first course for free that walks you through my journey and what you can do starting today by going to learnwithoutloans.com. That's learnwithoutloans.com.
John and Heidi.
Now your scoop of the day, brought to you by Wink Frozen Desserts, online at radiosavings.com. A bank robber in Italy was convicted after police matched his DNA to the gold teeth that were knocked out when he hit a van. A van hit the fleeing suspect, and when they hit him, they knocked out 2 of his gold teeth. Probably worth more than what he stole from the bank, by the way.
Probably.
But they were able to match it up. First of all, he was missing his gold teeth, and second of all, the DNA matched. So
That's awesome.
How is there DNA in gold teeth? Aren't they made of gold?
Saliva.
Yeah, I don't know how all that works.
It was all in his mouth because you can
Oh, that's
find
right,
out
like
who
a
somebody is from a
swab.
cotton
Yeah,
swab.
just from a cotton swab. That's true. Los Angeles traffic has been named the worst traffic on the planet for the 6th year straight.
I have never driven in Los
I have.
Angeles.
I remember calling you from the Ventura Boulevard, and I was driving from one place to another, and you said, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm driving." Well, you need to focus on the road. I'm like, I haven't moved for like 10 minutes. Finally just decided to make the call, which I don't encourage, by the way. A woman in China is living proof that it's never too late to learn. She's 81 years young, and Sunday she accepted her first college degree. It's a 4-year degree in e-commerce. The 81-year-old woman said, "Do not let other people's view cloud your own. And most importantly, you must be courageous enough to continue on." She's 81 years young. So that's really cool. I think, if you're into that kind of thing, do it. We talked to, just back in November, at 80s in the Sand, Diane Franklin. She's a movie star. She's got like 4 different degrees. Because she went to school, and then she decided, hey, I want to go to school again. And she went to school, and I think it was like 3 or 4 times. But she's got a ton of degrees. Very smart lady.
Interesting.
A Japanese study found that eating McDonald's French fries may be able to cure baldness.
Ooh.
Okay. What are they doing in Japan that's different than people here? Because I know a lot of people that eat those fries that are bald. You would think that by now, those little fry guys would have been doing their job.
Maybe they have
and
a
people
different
would all
kind of
have.
grease.
I don't know what they're doing. But a Japanese study found eating McDonald's fries may be able to cure baldness. I'm gonna call the old BS flag on that. I don't believe that. I don't know. We'll see. Group of researchers in New Zealand and the Netherlands conducted a study, and they found that meditation does not make you a calmer person. So people that are meditating right now, they're like, wait a minute.
What did he say? If they're meditating, they're not listening to us.
Well, they could be, because we're so calm.
Then they're doing it wrong, and that's probably why they're not calm.
That's very true. Very true. Again, that was in New Zealand. So I don't know. New Zealand and the Netherlands, I guess if they're meditating there, maybe it's different than the way we do it. A Brooklyn man was beaten with a coffee table leg after he and his... Okay, listen to this. Have you already heard this story?
No.
Okay,
I just like the image of the visual image of them
a Brooklyn
beating somebody
man
with a coffee table.
beaten with a coffee table leg after he and his boyfriend got into a fight during a threesome.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not sure who the third person was, but how awkward must that have been for everybody involved? I just don't understand. That's why you don't do that kind of stuff. And I'm going to move on. The Olympic Village is suffering. This is over in South Korea. And everybody is going to be so shocked when I say this. The Olympic Village is suffering from an outbreak of the norovirus. It has now forced the Southern Korean government to deploy the military to the Olympics. We all knew the military was going to be there. We just didn't know why. Anybody shocked about this?
I don't know.
I think that's really crazy. So that's going on. I've not watched the Olympics at all. The other day,
I have no interest, honestly.
I was in a business the other day that had a bunch of TVs. It was like a sports bar kind of thing, and they had the Olympics on, and that is seriously the first time I even realized. I'm like, oh, that's right, the Olympics are going on. Have they been going on a while? I don't know how long this has been going on. Somebody should tell me how all that works. I can tell you what we do have coming your way in just a moment. We've got a guest. We're going to be visiting with Dr. Ellen Keller, the author of Selfish Path to Romance. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
There are monthly subscriptions for razors and coffee and many other things, but this is the best monthly subscription ever. Ladies, listen up. Odiva has a monthly subscription for your monthly visitor. You know it's going to happen every month, and how many times have you been caught off guard? Odiva will send you a box discreetly each month with the products you want, with plans starting at less than $4 a month. Get a special offer right now at radiosavings.com, helping women prepare for their monthly visitor for less. Try it now at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We are into February now. We got this event coming up in just a few weeks. It's National Singles Awareness Day, and it's also Valentine's Day. It's a big deal. I absolutely love Valentine's Day. On the line, I've got Dr. Ellen Kenner. We're going to visit about Valentine's Day, and not just that, but romance in general. She's the author of The Selfish Path to Romance, How to Love with Passion and Reason. How are you doing, Dr. Kenner?
Oh, very good, thank you.
Well, we're excited to visit with you. Now, first of all, the book that you have, when did this come out? This is not brand new. This is it's been out for a little while.
Yeah, this came out in 2011, but it's an evergreen book.
Yeah.
So it never goes out of style.
And that's a really smart thing, because there are always people that need help in this subject. I mean, we do a thing called Dear John letters where people can write in and we'll solve their problems. Wink, wink. I don't know that we're going to solve them, but we're going to give advice. And so many times the questions have things to do with relationships. So this is something people always need help with, isn't it?
Oh, they need, yes, absolutely. And it applies much more broadly than just to romance.
For people who are kind of new in a relationship, let's start there. If you just started dating and, this is kind of a new thing, when we get to a big date like Valentine's Day, this is a big deal because, what you do on this first Valentine's Day can kind of set the tone for, if there is a second Valentine's Day for you, right?
Right. So when you start dating, you really want to get to know the person. And I fell head over heels with my husband when on our first date. And I told my family, I told my sisters and my mom that I want to marry him day one. Now, do I have enough information? I don't have enough information, but everything was in sync. The chemistry was there. And here's the important point. I, at that point, need to recognize that I'm going to learn about him in layers over time. And I need to note, are there any inconsistencies? Is he really nice to me, but does he lose it with the waitress? Does he say one thing? Does he say he really likes me, but he gives me a dirty look? Now, this is not my husband. I wish I used a different example. Will I be willing to introspect, to think about it? What do I like about him? What don't I like? What confused me a little bit? Would I be willing to ask him some more questions about his past or his dating history? And then I definitely want to see him in stressful situations because, man, you're looking for someone that you're going to be with the rest of your life. So I want to see him in a stressful situation, maybe at work or maybe in family relationships. Can he hold his own? Can he do it in a nice way? And I also want to interview relatives and friends to find out. So tell me about Harris. What was he like as a kid? What was he like when in college? So, and that's as opposed to just going on autopilot. I'm in love with him. I want to marry him, and I ignore any signals, what we call infatuation.
Absolutely. I remember when my wife and I first met, we had both been married and divorced. Our first date was more like an interview. And it was, it was very much, I'm not going to put up with this and this and this, and I'm not interested in this and this and this. And after that date, it was like, okay, we can have another date. And now we've been married for 18 years. So it was kind of
wow.
Actually, our
wonderful
anniversary is coming up here soon. Now, when it comes to couples that have been together for a while, there are some couples that argue, and then there are other couples who say that they don't argue, but they probably do. Arguing is not really a bad thing, is it?
Every single couple is going to have differences. Partners come from different backgrounds. They have different baggage from their siblings or their family, and they have different values. So they're going to say, it could be small things like, I like the bed made in the morning, or please keep the toilet seat up or down or whatever. Or it could be big things. I don't spend a lot of money on vacations and never have, and I don't want to start now, but I do. I love vacations. Or I want kids. Well, I never wanted kids, and I told you that. Well, I've changed my mind. So how do you resolve conflicts? Well, you're right. Some people say they never fight. I know people in my own family who said, we have never had an argument, and I will tell you that they've argued a lot. They just do it with the silent treatment, which is much more painful because you don't know what's going on. So how do you deal with that type of conflict? Some people obviously are just out there. We had neighbors who just would scream. We could hear them across the street when they argued. So the tip is to really listen to the other person, and that's so hard. We all say, yeah, I listen to my husband or wife or partner. But listening and paraphrasing, really getting what they said. So I hear you love to travel and that you wish that I loved to go to Europe without putting in your own 2 cents at that point. And you want to talk about things. You want to nip any tensions that you have in the bud. You don't want to let them go on. And then you need assertiveness skills. I hear this is what you want. I'm hoping that you'll understand that I do love to travel and you might be willing to consider at least a short trip someplace.
Yeah.
You learn how to compromise and you learn how to deal with one another's resistance. These are some short answers, but we have full chapters on these at our book, and people can read it for free. Chapter 1's for free at drkenner.com.
Awesome. Again, our guest right now, Dr. Ellen Kenner, and she's the author of I struggle to say that, Selfish Path to Romance, How to Love with Passion and Reason. And I remember when I talked to you the first time, which has been, I believe, a year ago, I remember just thinking that the title, Selfish The Selfish Path to Romance. I was like, what a bizarre title. But explain why it's titled that, because it does make a ton of sense.
Right. Well, when you think of the Selfish Path to Romance, you think of, what is this, a book on the narcissistic, arrogant, manipulative, conniving highway, or the highway path to romance? I mean, my parents kind of are mortified with the title of the book. But selfish just means concern with yourself, and you want your kids to be concerned with themselves and to value themselves. So by selfish, we mean self-valuing, self-nurturing, self-esteem. And the biggest problem that I saw in relationships in couples therapy was one or the other or both partners would say, I feel like I've lost myself in this relationship. And, it's all about her family or sex his way, or it's all about the kids. I never see her anymore, and there's no me. I feel invisible. And that's one of the most painful things in a relationship, to feel like you are not important, you don't matter. So when you you don't want to build up resentments with one another. You want to take charge of yourself, responsibility for yourself, and really make yourself into someone who has good character. And that's what we mean by selfish, self-esteem, self-valuing.
Now, Dr. Kenner, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. It's always a pleasure to visit with you. And again, like I said, I know this is a topic that people need help with all the time. So it's wonderful that you've got this book available for people to go and get the information they need. I think that's fantastic.
Oh, thank you. There are nice short chapters. And again, chapter 1 is free online, so people can test the waters first. And there are many more. They can go to drkenner.com, and there are many more topics that we talk about, including humor, the wonderful value of humor in a relationship, and how not to become a doormat in a relationship.
Nice. Very nice. And this would be, as you were thinking about, what do I get my special someone for Valentine's Day? I'm not necessarily saying you get this book and hand it to them. I'm saying you get this book and read it yourself and give them that person that they deserve. Become the husband or the wife or the boyfriend or the girlfriend that they deserve, and talk about a gift that's going to keep on giving.
Right. And that's one of the things we raise. You make yourself more lovable, and it's for yourself, but it'll be better for the other person, too. And one of the big questions we have is, would you like to live with a carbon copy of yourself?
Oh, boy.
What would you change? And that's where you can do some work on yourself that makes you a better person. It might be just some small bad habits, or it might be something you've always wanted for yourself, and you feel like you've betrayed yourself. So selfish isn't a bad word if it's not with the current connotation, but it's self-valuing, really embracing your life and learning how to flourish.
And anyone that's ever got on an airplane to fly somewhere, they always say, before you help the people next to you, you're supposed to take care of yourself, get your own, and it's the same thing. Take care of yourself in the relationship first. Make sure that you're happy. Otherwise, you can't do anything to make anyone else happy.
You can't put that burden on your partner. You should make me happy. You married me to make you happy. That's BS.
No.
You can't do that.
Well, Dr. Kenner, thank you again. I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us today.
Oh, a pleasure. And I do want to mention my co-author, Dr. Ed Locke. Same time next year.
That sounds fantastic. It's a date. Again, Dr. Ellen Kenner and Selfish Path to Romance is the title of the book, How to Love with Passion and Reason. And I've got a link to it on our Facebook page to make it really easy to find. That's facebook.com/sunnyradio.
John and Heidi.
Many people think they cannot enjoy something delicious if you're watching your calories. But with Wink frozen desserts, you can. There's only 100 calories per pint. And listen to this, it's sugar-free, dairy-free, soy-free, gluten-free, nut-free, and egg-free. Good thing it's not taste-free, but it is fully vegan-friendly. Wink was designed by a family that struggles with celiac disease, so they had to change their diet. But many people are choosing to eat better, and Wink frozen desserts could be an amazing choice for you. Find Wink frozen desserts at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Did you know the small population of mammoths survived on the Wrangel Island until 1650 BC, about 900 years after the construction of the Great Pyramids were completed? So there were a bunch of mammoths that hung around even after all the other mammoths had died.
Oh.
They were like the last of the mammoths.
Interesting.
And I think Disney should do a movie about them or something. Hey, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The state of Ohio gives out different colored license plates for people that have been convicted of a DUI. It's probably a good idea.
That's a very good idea.
Maybe we're like, hey, watch out for that one.
I like that idea a lot.
That should catch on everywhere. I'm going to have to start paying attention on the roads now. Hey, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The Flintstones was the most profitable network cartoon franchise for 30 years, and then somebody came along and bumped them out of that spot.
Simpsons.
Yeah, The Simpsons. That is now the most profitable network cartoon franchise, The Simpsons. And this has been a couple of fun facts, courtesy of LearnWithoutLoans.com.
John and Heidi.
Sadly, more than 350 million people suffer from depression. Scientifically, your actual brain chemistry levels are affected. Now, a breakthrough safe and natural non-prescription coffee product has been shown to help. It elevates levels of dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins in the brain, which make you happier just by drinking this special cup of coffee. Many report elevated mood, feeling more connected, having greater energy, clarity, and focus. Try it for yourself at firstcupisfree.com. Get a free sample at firstcupisfree.com.
John and Heidi.
Are you ready for the grandiloquent word of the day?
I absolutely am.
I don't know if we've done this one or not. This is from back in December, but I like this, and I don't think we've done it. Effulgent. Effulgent. If we have, I apologize. Effulgent means brightly, it's an adjective, first of all, E-F-F-U-L-G-E-N-T. It's an adjective, brightly shining, radiant, resplendent, which could be its own word. And it says, of a person or their expression emanating joy or goodness. So if you're like a really happy person and you're bright and cheerful, you are an effulgent person.
Well, there you go.
I like that word. I know a lot of people that are effulgent. I also know some people that are like not so effulgent. I'm not going to point any fingers, but Heidi can be both. You know what? A lot of the time you're very effulgent, but then there are times where I say something stupid, and all of a sudden you lack effulgence. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but effulgent is our grandiloquent word of the day.
John and Heidi.
You can have a debt-free education. I know that sounds crazy, but let me save you time, energy, and most importantly, your hard-earned money. My name is Matthew Einstone, and I learned to go through my undergraduate and graduate degree without student loans. Not only am I a living example, but I have 10 years of proven results, not guesswork. So take my first course for free that walks you through my journey and what you can do starting today by going to LearnWithoutLoans.com. That's LearnWithoutLoans.com.
John and Heidi.
Time now for some weird news brought to you by FirstCupIsFree.com. Sean O'Neill, he's a 56-year-old man from Albany, California, and he was arrested after he stole a tow truck last week as revenge for the company towing his car. Oh, yeah, you show them. You show them, Sean. Didn't work so hot, did it? If that wasn't bad enough, then he got into a chase with the cops. It wasn't a high-speed chase because he didn't realize the top speed of a tow truck was like 40 miles an hour. They put out a spike strip, and that stopped O'Neill dead in his tracks. Police apprehended him. He was arrested on several charges. So there you go.
There you go.
Not the smartest thing to do.
Not at all.
Yeah, 56-year-old man. You'd think you'd know well enough at that point in your life to not steal tow trucks. And I'm sure they didn't take your car for no reason. You know, this was in revenge. What did you do in the first place, Sean? I mean, if your response is, I'm going to steal a tow truck to get revenge, whatever you did in the first place probably wasn't that smart either. And my wife got a text message.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. This has been some weird news brought to you by FirstCupIsFree.com.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh, brought to you by LearnWithoutLoans.com. Brian Doro, age 27, he's from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Well, he called in a bomb threat to a courthouse because his girlfriend could not afford a lawyer. She had a child custody hearing, and he was trying to buy her some more time. Well, he told the receptionist at the administration building that if all of the inmates at the county jail were not released within 10 hours, he would blow up the county government complex.
Oh, my God.
Not a smart thing. Police cleared the complex. Then they traced the call to Doro. He may have tried to play the role of a good boyfriend, but now he'll be looking at conjugal visits and a lengthy prison sentence. That is quite illegal.
Wow.
So don't do that. Second fake bomb threat of the
Right?
week.
What is wrong with people?
Yesterday, we had a story of a man who called in a bomb threat because his dad and his brother were invited to a wedding and he was not. So he called in the bomb threat.
Can't imagine why he wasn't invited.
I just don't get it.
Sounds like the life of the party to me.
I know. This is a bad thing to do. Don't do those kind of things. This has been your Moment of Duh. Again, it's brought to you by LearnWithoutLoans.com.
John and Heidi.
Many people think they cannot enjoy something delicious if you're watching your calories. But with Wink frozen desserts, you can. There's only 100 calories per pint. And listen to this. It's sugar-free, dairy-free, soy-free, gluten-free, nut-free, and egg-free. Good thing it's not taste-free, but it is fully vegan-friendly. Wink was designed by a family that struggles with celiac disease, so they had to change their diet. But many people are choosing to eat better, and Wink frozen desserts could be an amazing choice for you. Find Wink frozen desserts at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Coming up, we've got some good news to get to. But first, a driver in Spain is facing a large fine for driving with a stack of pallets that were way, way, way too high. Way too high. Police received reports of a van traveling on a busy road with a really, really tall stack of wooden pallets balancing on the roof of the van. The height of the pallets was double the height of the vehicle. I can only imagine. Investigators said the driver is now facing a fine of up to $1,243. What does this remind you of when I share this story?
It reminds me of several things that you have tried to do many times.
We were putting shingles on a roof one time. We had a lift to do that, and then the shingles blew off, and we were building this house. This is a long time ago. Anyway, we didn't have a lift, but we had scaffolding, which wasn't tall enough. We had a truck, so I put the scaffolding in the truck. I strapped it all together.
So dangerous.
It was a bad idea. I didn't fall and get killed, but I probably should have. I probably should have hired somebody to fix that.
Probably.
But, yeah. I've got a link to this story, not my story, but the pallet story on our Facebook page. We'll come back with some good news in a bit.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think we've got some darn good news. Brought to you by Odiva, the monthly subscription for Ladies Monthly Visitor. More information is available at radiosavings.com. I got this one from my beautiful bride, Heidi. Thank you for sending me all the good news, by the way.
You're welcome,
It's good stuff.
John.
Homeless man about to buy food gives his last coins to a mom in need. Then a stranger steps in. This is such a cool story.
Isn't this great? I
There was
liked this one
a homeless
lot.
man who was just getting ready to go in and get something to eat, and then there was a woman there that wanted to take her child back to the shelter, but it was getting cold, so she wanted to go back by bus. So he said, well, tell you what, it's all I have, but I'll give it to you, if that'll help you guys get back. So there was a gentleman that overheard this, Fernando Herrera. He's from Minnesota. He overheard the conversation, and when he saw this man do such a really kind thing, you know, being very selfless, he said, I got to help this guy. So first thing he said is he asked him, hey, why did you do that? Because he started walking away, and he said, hey, I'm gonna buy whatever you want. No matter what you want, I'm going to get you something. Nevertheless, the guy still said, I don't want anything. You don't need to give me anything. But he's like, I can't let you go away hungry.
Right.
So after a few words, he finally got him to agree. Even though he agreed to pick up, he said, I'm going to get the smallest thing on the menu. Instead, he said, no, I'm gonna order you a bunch of stuff. So he ordered a ton of stuff for the guy. And he says, I showed him, I thanked him, rather, for showing me that money doesn't mean anything if you're not helping others. And there's a photo on here of the gentleman having his feast. And just such a cool thing that this guy was able to help out in that way. And
I think it's so important to pay attention to the things that are going around you. And if you see things like that, it really is your responsibility as a human being to step in and make a difference.
And here's the thing that's really cool. You know, there are people who listen who are people of faith who believe in God. I believe in God, and I believe it was God speaking through this man. But if you don't believe that, he's just a great guy. Either way, awesome thing, awesome story. And so many times you'll hear that still small voice in your head saying you should do something. Listen to that voice.
Yep.
You know, when it's saying, hey, you should help out. You've got the money to help out. I've done this before, and I think it's awesome. You know, I think it's so cool because I walk away feeling probably better than the person I helped.
Right.
And it's just a great thing. So it's an awesome story. We've got that on our Facebook page if you would like to read it. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Again, that link for the story is at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.